In response to the shooting, more than 1,000 protesters took to the streets in Minneapolis in sub-zero temperatures, with other protests being held in solidarity nationwide.
Right now, you cannot open your phone or turn on a TV without hearing about the news of mass protests in Minnesota. The citizens of Minnesota and the federal agents of ICE are having standoffs in the streets regarding the methods of mass deportations of illegal immigrants. All the while, government leaders whip up both sides into a frenzy to deflect from major issues such as allegations of Medicare fraud and the release of the Epstein files. So today we're going to talk about what I consider to be my favorite top 10 protest songs of all time. Let's dig in.
GD Sasquatch presents Unheard History.
In the number 10 spot we have For What It's Worth by Buffalo Springfield.
I think it's time we stop, children. What's that sound? Everybody look what's going down.
This is a classic protest song that many people associate with America's involvement in the Vietnam War. However, it was actually written by Stephen Stills in response to the Sunset Strip curfew riots in Los Angeles. The song has a really laid-back groove, but it captures the uneasy feeling that many people had during that time. Lyrics like, "Stop, hey, what's that sound?" capture both the unease of the citizens of Los Angeles as well as the extreme wariness that U.S. soldiers would have later on fighting in the jungles of Vietnam. In the number 9 spot, we have Ohio by Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young. The song was written in response to the killing of 4 students at Kent State University who were participating in a Vietnam War protest. The students were shot down by National Guardsmen who were there to provide crowd control, and it captures a moment of national grief over the incident. At number 8, we have Cult of Personality by In Living Color. In my opinion, this song is an absolute banger. The lyrics act as commentary discussing the dangers of charismatic and dangerous leaders, referencing several political figures throughout history, along with their aspects of political manipulation. Cult of Personality lends criticisms to blind allegiance, and that's why I love it, and it's especially relevant to our day and age. It questions the listener, who do you follow and why? At number 7, we have Fortunate Son by Creedence Clearwater Revival. Name a more iconic protest song. Written by John Fogerty, Fortunate Son addressed the issues of poor boys being drafted and sent to Vietnam, all while the rich and powerful were able to send their sons to college and avoid the draft and being shipped out overseas. The tone of the song screams rules for thee but not for me. And that's why Fortunate Son remains relevant in this day and age. In the number 6 slot, we have Zombie by the Cranberries. On March 20th, 1993, 2 explosive devices were set by the Provisional Irish Republican Army, or the IRA, in a busy market on Bridge Street in Warrington, England. This tragically led to the deaths of 2 children and injured 54 others. The IRA stated that the goal of the incident was to provide pressure on the British government over its political policies in Northern Ireland, which they viewed as an occupation by the British military. This long-standing conflict, known as the Troubles, lasted from the 1960s all the way until 1998. The Cranberries wrote Zombie as a response to the violence and incredible loss of this incident. It captured the frustration, anguish, and fatigue that many were feeling at that time. Number 5 is a song that's a little bit unorthodox, but it goes on my list because of how beautifully it's written.
And mamas and grandmamas love you, 'cause that's all they know. dress blue.
Dress Blues was written by Jason Isbell over the loss of a hometown soldier, Marine Corporal Matthew Conley, who died in Iraq in 2006 when the Humvee he was in was hit by an IED shortly before he was expected to return home from overseas. Isbell captures the setting of a patriotic funeral in a small hometown and the feeling of indescribable loss to friends, families, and a young wife who was expecting their first child who would never meet his father. Again, while this song is a more obscure choice for a protest list, Isbell's genius skills in writing, along with his mastery of music, make the line, "You never planned on those bombs in the sand or sleeping in your dress blues," hit so hard that you sit back and contemplate on why soldiers are sent off to die in faraway lands over obscure political ideologies. At number 4, we have BYOB by System of a Down.
Everybody's going to the party, have a real good time. Dancing in the desert, blowing up the sunshine.
This is another absolute banger of a tune. System of a Down's BYOB, or Bring Your Own Bombs, lends criticism to war profiteering and the ever-present gap of the ruling class sending poor kids off to fight their wars. With a fun play between an absolute groove and complete chaos, System of a Down challenges the listener to think about the motives of military intervention and political rhetoric. Number 3 on my list is Sunday Bloody Sunday by U2.
Broken bottles under children's feet, bodies strewn across the dead-end street, but I won't heed the bad old call. It puts my back up against the wall. Sunday, bloody Sunday.
I've always been a big fan of U2, and they have many songs that can be interpreted as protest songs. But Sunday Bloody Sunday specifically addresses the killing of Irish citizens by British soldiers during a civil rights protest. This song further criticizes both sides for escalating tensions during the Troubles, calling for peace and a cease of hostilities between both Britain and the IRA. Coming up to number 2 on my list, we've got War Pigs by Black Sabbath.
Girls gathered in their masses, just like witches at black masses. In the fields of bodies burning, as the war machine keeps turning.
War Pigs is a classic that calls attention to the warmongers and profiteers that send poor kids off to die in strange lands while they sit back and watch their bank accounts get egregiously fatter. An aggressive song that doesn't pull any punches, War Pigs remains one of the best protest songs of all time. And at number 1, a song that's probably going to piss a bunch of you guys off, I have Call to Arms by Sturgill Simpson. Call to Arms is one of the best protest songs, in my opinion, that has ever been written. A part of his album, A Sailor's Guide to Life, this song was written as a warning to his son to avoid the pitfalls of being ensnared by political rhetoric and a false sense of patriotism. Addressing U.S. involvement in the wars in Iraq, Afghanistan, and Syria, the song focuses on the human cost of war and the poor people dying in strange lands while the rich get richer. Anybody feel a theme in this list? It also, more importantly, focuses on the manipulation of information by the mass media sources, while at the same time placing responsibility of the masses on themselves as they are too busy looking down at their phones. God, if that's not true. Call to Arms is an amazing, upbeat song with stabbing lyrics and an all-around understanding of human behavior. And just for a minute, watch the end of this performance on Saturday Night Live and tell me that this is like, he was in it, man. Like, you could see it in his eyes, like that was his moment. I go back and watch that I mean, it's so amazing. What else is there to say about it? That's why it's my number one. So this has been my top 10 list of best protest songs of all time. And again, it's my opinion. If you don't like it, make your own damn list. So tell me in the comments what you think. I mean, are the commie trolls going to come at me in the comments because I left our precious Rage Against the Machine off the list? I mean, sorry, but those boys are absolutely cosplay communists. They fleece their fans in the name of rebellion, and they're playing at protesting while they meet with their accountants to figure out how are we going to get out of paying taxes on our $40 million net worth? Looking at you, Tom Morello. And their absolute hypocrisy is why I left them entirely off the list. So, again, leave your comments down below and we can fight about why I'm right and you're wrong. Until then, if you would, like this video, subscribe to it, and I'll see you next time. But no, we got to rage against the machine. Sorry, guys. They ain't raging against anything other than taxation.